Along with us the day before Election Day. We are now live streaming over at 106.3 WORD on Facebook and Twitter. Charlie on Air on Twitter, also Charlie on Air on Rumble, and the WORD YouTube page as well. Okay, welcome to the program. Let's go to the phones. We're going to talk to Ralph in Spartanburg. Ralph, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, Charlie, good to talk to you. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. It's going to be a busy 27 hours for us around here. So, yeah, appreciate it. What's up?
Yeah, I'm going to go home and just clean my ammo just to be safe, you know?
You're going to be polishing.
In times of crisis, we turn the guns.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So how you think it's going to go tomorrow?
I pray it goes where the country has the ability to be healed by getting us back to a normal process of consumerism.
Yeah.
And I mean the ability to buy and not have our money taken by the government if we decide to donate it to anybody. And so that's in the forecast if we keep it the way it is. You and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the Bible it says without the mark of the beast, we'll be able to buy or sell.
That's right.
And so, but I sent you a video I want you to look. It's a black minister in the pulpit talking about the spirit of deception we have working in this country.
Yeah.
Because Biden has destroyed, and this was a while back, because he said Biden destroyed the country in a year. But nobody said anything about it because they're deceived.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's not Republican or Democrat. It's just the truth. He said, let me make it relevant. $2 a gallon gas last year, $4 now.
Yeah.
Nobody's complaining about it, really, because they were deceived. And the hardest thing to get somebody to see is that they are deceived.
That's the hardest. Nobody will admit that somebody got something over on them.
Yeah. But
right?
Master, yes, sir. But about McMaster, I'm self-employed, Charlie. I basically knock doors for a living. I come to your door, I got my badge on. It says ADT security, and I'm talking, and I'm very respectful. As a matter of fact, the first thing I do when I knock the door, you come there and say, don't shoot, I come in peace. Because I want you to laugh.
Exactly.
And then we can talk.
Exactly.
But people they said not to work. I said, I got to work. They say, why? I say, because Duke Energy don't care.
Yeah.
They may not have gotten that letter.
Exactly right. I can't work right now. You're exactly right. Hey, man, I appreciate you calling in this afternoon, Ralph. Let's go to Pat in Union. Pat, welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm good. Did everybody forget that Biden was paying people to stay home and not go to work?
That's right. Paying people to stay home. No wonder the economy tanked. No wonder. Nobody went to work. I was in Maine, and we were in this lobster village, lobster harbor, and the guy said only about 10% of the lobster pods are out because you can't get anybody to do the work.
Yeah, they pay to stay home.
Yeah, the government was paying them more to stay home.
Feldman had another stroke Friday.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's what we've heard.
Yeah.
Not a lot of news is getting into New York.
Yeah.
I keep getting stuff, and I'm sharing it as fast as I can to everybody I can up there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm not a McMaster fan, but I'm voting for him because he has the best people working under him you could ask for.
I agree. And I'm a big fan of Pamela Ebbett. I think she does a great job. So, Pat, I appreciate you calling in. But here's the thing. I mean, right now, the day before the election, you're going to call into the program and all of a sudden start giving all of these really good answers to a lot of questions. Really good answers. But what are you going to do if you get in the chair? People will paint all these beautiful landscape portraits out there of how they want things to be. But we know good and well when Cunningham gets back, should he get into he's going to be working with the Marlon Kempsons. He's going to be working with, Clyburn's daughter. Jim Clyburn is going to be a huge influence on him. That's just the way it's going to be. And what would really get done? I mean, if you've got a Republican governor that can't get a whole lot done with the South Carolina state legislature, really think it did? Well, maybe so. I don't know the way these guys work these days. But get out there and vote tomorrow. You've got to do it. Don't let anybody dissuade you from voting. Charlie, a friend of mine made a post 2 years ago. She reposted it today. Gas was $1.59. $1.59 2 years ago. Unbelievable. And look where we are now. And Joe Biden is out there saying, oh, well, I shut down drilling. We don't want to do drilling. We don't, no more drilling. Even though he denied it. He denied that he said no more drilling. Let's take a listen to Corinne Jean-Pierre talking about drilling again.
President Biden made a pledge last night during the New York rally to approve, quote, no more drilling for oil. But does he see that as being in conflict with his efforts to lower gas prices?
So no, we don't see that in conflict.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't see it in conflict because there is no conflict. He doesn't want to reduce the amount of oil that's being drilled. He just wants to reduce the amount of oil that's being drilled here. He doesn't mind. In fact, he wanted Saudi Arabia to pump more oil. He wanted them to pump more oil. He wants Venezuela to pump more oil. He wants all of these other countries to pump more oil. He just doesn't want to do it where Americans would benefit from it. He doesn't want to open the Keystone XL pipeline. He wants to keep the pipeline shut down. He doesn't want to extend drilling permits. Now, there's a big difference between permitting the land for exploration and permitting the land for drilling. No new drilling permits. No fracking.
You got 2 callers.
And it's killing us. We're going to be in a huge bind as far as diesel is concerned. Let's go to Oyster Man in Travelers Rest. How you doing?
I am doing better. If I woke up again, I'd be doing even better.
All right.
Listen, I just need, my brother and I were talking today at lunch about these statewide constitutional amendments.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 6 decades into this thing, closer to 7 than he is. But can you tell me exactly what these things are talking about?
They basically help. They make sure we've got enough money in our so-called rainy day fund.
Okay.
For emergencies. So, I mean, they're not going to increase your tax base, from what I understand. It's not going to increase your taxes. They're just going to spend more of the revenue that they get from taxpayers, from taxes, and put it into these rainy day funds. I'm going to vote yes on both of them. Look over them and make that decision for yourself, Oyster Man. I appreciate it, buddy. Denise is in Greenville. How you doing, Denise?
All right. How are you? I was watching
Wonderful.
the Clemson Charger football game Saturday night.
Uh-huh.
And I saw a commercial that was 3 people saying that they were Republican, but they were not going to vote for the probate judge that's Republican. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, I will. They weren't Republicans. Why not?
That's sort of one thing I thought.
Why wouldn't you vote for a Republican for probate judge here in South Carolina? Because we know the Democrat policy. I mean, this is a woman that said she never shut down the probate judge office when actually she did. You couldn't go there. You couldn't get a marriage license. You couldn't get all the licensing. You couldn't. I mean, no probate was going on effectively. So yeah, I mean, just more lies from the Democrats as always. Never trust that. So Denise, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much. We'll take a quick break and be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD. Welcome back to the program. Glad to have you along with us on this Monday evening. Let's go to Anderson in Boiling Springs. Anderson, how you doing?
Hey, how about it, Dad? Anchors away, baby. Retired Navy.
All right, good, good. Thank you so much for your service. What can I do for you?
You got my attention when you said you're going to vote yes for those two amendments.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote no. I have already voted no,
Okay.
and I urge all your callers to vote no.
Okay.
We
What?
don't need to give those people any more money than they've already got. We give them another nickel, and they call every day is a rainy day.
Every day's a rainy day. All right. I mean, I agree, but I'm
They
just.
won't get one more nickel out of me.
All right. Well, there you go. From what I hear, it's not going to raise your taxes. They're going to just going to increase the.
Oh, right.
We'll
But
see.
it just comes out of the general fund. Where do you think that comes from?
I know, but they're not going to raise you. Supposedly not going to raise your taxes.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
All right, Anderson. I appreciate it. Look, you vote any way you want to. I'm not going to, be angry at you if you vote against, ways that I don't vote or the other way around. But the Amendment 1 will increase the General Reserve Fund from 5 to 7% of the state general fund revenue by 0.5% each year. And the second one is going to increase the Capital Reserve Fund from 2% to 3% of the state general fund revenue. So vote how you want on those things. Let's go to Richard up in North Carolina. Richard, how you doing?
Hey, Charlie, I'm good. You?
I'm doing fantastic. What's on your mind today?
I believe I know why Joe Biden's not drilling.
Yeah.
The Democrats, they're strategists from hell, and
Mm-hmm.
what they have planned is world dominance in the future. Because when the world runs out of oil, the United States is going to step in and say, "Hey, man, we got it. We can sell it to you." They're searching for world dominance.
So
That's my opinion.
you
Hey,
think?
brother.
I appreciate it, Dallas. I appreciate it, Richard. Thank you for calling in from Dallas, North Carolina. Thank you. I kind of understand what you're saying about that, but I don't think they really want the United States to be dominant. I really don't, because remember, these are globalists. They want everybody to be equal. We went from energy independent. In fact, we were a net exporter of energy to now being almost completely dependent. I mean, that's why, and they can deny it all they want to, and they have. Joe Biden goes to Saudi Arabia, gets the fist bump, doesn't even get a handshake, doesn't get a big parade like Trump had, people waving swords around all over the place, which was kind of scary. But no, he gets a fist bump, and he comes back home with nothing. In fact, he left money there. He left money in Saudi Arabia. He was giving them more money. Now, we are a nation right now that is protecting those oil fields in Saudi Arabia. We're flying planes over all the time, making sure that nobody attacks that place. And then how do they pay us back? Yeah, well, we're actually going to reduce how much oil we're going to be pumping. And not only are we going to reduce pumping the oil, we're actually going to go along with this whole BRICS thing, which is going to basically do away with the petrodollar, which is the only thing that is holding the American dollar up right now. It's been bolstering, the petrodollar has been bolstering the U.S. economy for a long time. And if you don't know what that is, anytime somebody buys oil or energy, you have to use the American dollar. So if you've got the French francs, you have to convert that into American dollars and then buy the energy. If you've got whatever currency you want, pesos, whatever, you have to convert that into American dollars to buy the energy. Well, now they're saying those days are over. And when those days are over, there is literally nothing that is going to be bolstering up the American dollar, and it will sink like a rock. It will. It will sink like a rock. So they want to make us completely dependent on foreign oil. But for what means? For what benefit? Well, I know they want to appease the Greenie Weenies and the Greta Thunbergs out there and the Al Gores and the AOCs. I know they want to do that, but it's not helping the American people. We are in the East. I'm sorry. Yeah, the East Coast. We are now in a heightened alert status because of diesel. We are running low on diesel. And when diesel goes, everything goes. This country runs on diesel. Our tractors, our big rigs, our earth moving equipment, our construction equipment, all of that runs on diesel. Without that, this country grinds to a halt. Now, what the Republicans can do about that when they get sworn in January, I don't know, but I hope they can figure something out. But they have got to step in and do something. Let's talk more about the day after the election, the day after the swearing-in ceremonies and all the parties and the balls and the galas that are going on. What will the Republicans do then? That's coming up next right here on 106.3 WORD. This is the Charlie James Show.
Show.
Now we're talking.
106.3 WORD.
So I asked you just moments before the news break, what would you like to see the GOP do? What do you think the GOP is going to do? Should things go tomorrow the way we think they're going to go, what do you think the GOP should do? Let's go to Reed in Pickens. Reed, welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm good. That wasn't why I called. But
Okay.
I guess I'll go there. What the GOP needs to do is, which I really don't think they will, because I just don't have much confidence in them. But what they need to do is put us back on a path of energy independence.
Yeah.
Strengthen our military, strength in our Constitution, law and order by promoting the police and doing what they can to get rid of the corruption that's in the DOJ and the FBI and Homeland Security, do what they can to pass laws which will overrule presidential executive orders with regard to energy and the economy and those sort of things. There you are.
Yeah, well, Reed, Richard also talked about oil dominance. You were going to comment on his remarks. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think that that's part of the plan, because whenever you take away oil and gas and coal from being used in the United States, you will severely, and I don't mean a little bit, I mean severely cripple the ability of this country to produce anything. And so the economy will fail, and we will be a third world or even a fourth world country. And what those countries do is they supply raw materials to people that are producers. So our goal, our coal and our natural gas, maybe, because natural gas is hard to ship,
right,
and our oil will be used by China and India and anybody else that wants to get it, because we won't be able to use it, because all of our industries will have fallen flat on their faces because they can't make what they need to make using windmills and using solar panels.
That's right. You're exactly right, Reed. I appreciate you calling in. And the picture that he paints is a grim one. Now, let's not get too hopeful about what the GOP is going to be able to do over the next 2 years. All right? I think the best thing that they can do is stop any of these ridiculous policies. It's a no. If the Democrats put a bill forward, it's a no. It doesn't even make it to the floor. If Joe Biden wants a bill passed, no, it doesn't make it to the floor. Make Joe Biden veto bills that are good for this country. Make him do it. Make him do that. Because we know anything that the GOP puts forward, for the most part, that makes it to Joe Biden's desk, he's just going to veto anyway. So make him do it. And I mean, make him do it every single day. And the moment he vetoes a bill, you run out and you get in front of every television camera, every radio microphone, every reporter's pen, and you explain to the American people what Joe Biden just did. You do that. Now, they're going to call you obstructionist. Good. That's exactly what you should be. You should absolutely be obstructionist. 321 also points this out, and I was just about to get to this. They need to impeach him. For what? What would you impeach him? What would you not impeach him for? The handling of Afghanistan? That's enough. They need to open up investigations. They need to open up investigations into Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Jim Biden. They need to open up investigations over the weaponizing of the Department of Justice, the FBI, all the alphabet agencies. We need investigations. Charlie, the sad part is the GOP won't do anything you just talked about. Well, then woe be to the GOP. Woe be unto them if they don't. That's a shame. Charlie, somebody says, I predict that on Wednesday, Biden will announce that he is not running for re-election. Interesting that you bring this up. Interesting. because some people are saying that at his rally tonight, Trump could announce that he is running for president in 2024. Richard Grinnell tweeted this out a little while ago. Actually, it was about 2 o'clock this afternoon. He said, I would watch the Ohio rally if I were you. Is that a hint from Richard Grinnell that Donald Trump is going to announce that he's going to run for president of the United States? And let me ask you this. If he does, do you agree with the timing? Should Trump announce tonight, or should he wait until after the election? Because some people are going to be saying, listen, if Donald Trump, announces he's going to run for president, this is going to energize the Democrats. We got, good gracious, 26 hours until the close of the polls tomorrow night. Do you think it would be wise if Donald Trump were going to announce he was going to run for president? Do you think it would be wise to do it tonight, or should he wait until after the midterms? That's my question for you. I would love to get your answers on that. Charlie, Kamala Harris will resign. Biden will pick Hillary Clinton for vice president. Blech. You just made me throw up in my mouth. Charlie, the moment Donald Trump attacked Ron DeSantis, he shot himself in the foot. I have no idea what that was about. I have no idea. Calling him Ron disingenuous. I did hear some inklings that DeSantis was working with McCarthy and McConnell on some things. Don't know. But I do not believe that if I were Donald Trump, I would announce tonight. I would absolutely wait until Wednesday. Charlie, he is only Republican I would vote for. So wise, yes. Rev up his supporters, maybe so. Charlie, impeach for pushing the establishment of the current climate change. The text line is absolutely, it's like a ticker tape thing going on right now. Charlie, Trump endorsed McConnell. Yeah, I know. So we will see what happens. Tonight could be a big night. Tomorrow, going to be a big, big day. Charlie, Ron DeSantis scheduled a rally in Florida the same day that Trump had a rally on the opposite side of the state. Charlie, we do not need to get Trump to run again. He served his purpose. It's DeSantis' time. Okay. Charlie, tomorrow evening would be a better announcement time. I think he needs to beat the DOJ's coming actions. Maybe so. But I just don't think tonight, in my opinion, would be the night. Charlie needs to wait until 2023 so Dems don't get energized to increase their post-election rigging. You're right about that. Charlie, defund the 87,000 IRS agents, redirect the funds to build the wall. I agree with you on that. Absolutely. A lot of people are saying Trump should wait until after the election. Charlie, he'll wait 3 days to announce because the Dems need that long to count all the votes. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Charlie, South Carolina has one billionaire. How much money are we supposed to steal from her for equity? That is true. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD. I think we've got 2 billionaires now, actually.
307, putting it all into context.
It's the Charlie James Show
On 106.3 WORD.
Streaming all over the place. 106.3 WORD on Facebook and Twitter. The Charlie James Show, or Charlie on Air at Rumble. Charlie on Air on Twitter. And, of course, the WORD YouTube page as well. Let's go to Christina in Traveler's Rest and talk to her. Christina, how you doing?
Good afternoon. Hope you are well.
Absolutely.
I wanted to make a comment on one thing you said about, okay, what are our elected officials going to do the day after tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman from Easley made some comment, but the important thing is when we win the majority, no, that's not good enough. Which of the hideous actions taken by Biden with the executive orders and by Pelosi and crew are going to take a 2/3 or a 60 vote majority to overturn?
Yeah.
Not just a majority, but a 60 vote majority to overturn.
And don't forget, we've got folks on the Republican Party that side with the Democrats right now over in the Senate and the House.
That's true.
So you got to overcome a lot.
That's true. So,
but at least, we might be able to stop them.
That is the important thing.
Yeah.
What is it going to take to absolutely undo all the hideous policies that they have put in place? The other thing I wanted to say, and as I've said before, so many things are like, with the WORD listening audience, are like preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
But this is something not very many South Carolinians know. In South Carolina, the governor, like only a couple by now, of very few states, the governor is subservient to the legislature.
Yeah. We have
policy.
Yeah.
That policy was formed back in colonial days, and it still exists today.
Yeah.
So close your eyes. Prior to COVID, did we have daily appearances? And I've already voted for McMaster, so I'm backing him. Did we have daily microphones shoved in McMaster's face and daily soliciting from him? No, he was in the background. So during COVID, he became big man on campus. And so now it's back to the way things were before, where, as I said, the governor of South Carolina, not many people realize this, is subservient to the legislature.
Yeah, we have what's called here in South Carolina a weak governor's office. That is no slight against McMaster. It doesn't matter who is in the governor's office. They are, like you said, for lack of a better word, subservient to the state legislature. Christina, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much. We are monitoring the Trump rally in Ohio, where J.D. Vance has got a big lead right now. And hopefully, it's not just going to be, the House and the Senate. It's going to be governor's races as well, all across the country. I want these Democrats defeated to the point where tears are flowing, snot is flying. They got to somebody give me a tissue. That's what I want. I want the rinsing of clothes and gnashing of teeth. I want them sitting around covered in sackcloth, regretting all of the policies, regretting the way that they have treated this country over the past 2 years. I don't want a victory. I don't want revenge. I want a reckoning. Tombstone is one of my favorite movies. It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning. I want a reckoning. And I want these people to sit back and pay the price for the way they've treated us. There was a general over in France. I want to thank Joanna for sending this to me. General Christian Blanchon. I'm just going to now imagine that's the way he pronounces his name. He wrote this. Listen to this. This is from a Frenchman. Even if I were fully vaccinated, I would admire the unvaccinated for standing up to the greatest pressure I have ever seen, including from spouses, parents, children, friends, colleagues, and doctors. People who have been capable of such personality, courage, and such critical ability undoubtedly embody the best of humanity. They're found everywhere, in all ages, levels of education, countries, and opinions. They are of a particular kind. These are the soldiers that any army of light wishes to have in its ranks. They are the parents that every child wishes to have, and the children that every parent dreams of having. They are the beings above the average of their society. They are the essence of the peoples who have built all cultures and conquered horizons. They are there by your side. They seem normal, but they are superheroes. They did what others could not. They were free. They were the tree that withstood the hurricane of insults, discrimination, and social exclusion. And they did it because they thought they were alone and believed they were alone. Excluded from their families' Christmas tables, they have never seen anything so cruel. They lost their jobs, let their careers sink, and had no more money. But they didn't care. They suffered immeasurable discrimination, denunciations, betrayals, and humiliation. But they continued. Never before in humanity has there been such a casting. We now know who the resistors are on planet Earth. Women, men, old, young, rich, poor, of all races and all religions. The unvaccinated. The chosen ones of the invisible ark. The only ones who managed to resist when everything fell apart, collapsed. You've passed an unimaginable test that many of the toughest Marines, commandos, Green Berets, astronauts, and geniuses couldn't pass. You are made of the stuff of the greatest that ever lived. Those heroes born among ordinary men who shine in the dark. That is from French General Christian Blanchon talking about the unvaccinated. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
Let's talk.
Hit up Charlie on the Ingalls Market Talk line. 800-347-1063.
This is the Charlie James Show on 106.3 WORD.
For those of you that are watching on the live stream, Mr. Wrestling number 2 has taken his Make America Great Again hat off just for today and has put on the red and black cap of my Georgia Bulldogs. There you go. Even Mr. Wrestling number 2. But you know where Mr. Wrestling number 2 was born? You got any idea? Charleston, South Carolina. Mr. Wrestling number 2, who should be in the South Carolina Hall of Fame, was born in Charleston, South Carolina. I believe his birthday was actually September the 11th. I believe I'm right about that. So, okay, the Ingalls Market Talk line, 800-347-1063, the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 71307. Would love to chat with you this afternoon. Still monitoring this rally in Ohio because a lot of people are saying, I mean, even the people over there on CNN saying, oh, multiple sources are saying that Trump is going to run.
Kristen, former President Trump is in Ohio to campaign for the GOP Senate candidate there, J.D. Vance. But sources tell CNN that Trump is actively discussing an 11th hour surprise announcement. What are you learning about this?
That's right, Brianna. Well, multiple sources have told us that in the last several days, former President Trump has floated the idea of this election eve night presidential announcement for a third term. This is something that he has been weighing for quite some time. Now, these sources do say that this is not set in stone. And just moments ago, I talked to two people who are incredibly close to Trump who say they are not aware that any firm decision has been made. Now, as we have reported for weeks, Trump is eager to announce a third presidential run. The timing was the big question here. What we are looking at is the potential of him getting up here and announcing that run while he's sitting here with his hand-picked candidate. Now, he had tried to announce or wanted to announce before the midterms, but was convinced by people close to him that was a mistake, that if Republicans didn't do well, he would be blamed. But sources tell my colleague Gabby Orr he believes he could announce tonight and not be blamed because the advertising window is closed, meaning that they couldn't actually put up any ads linking him to these candidates. I will note one thing. Ohio was always a place that they were looking at for this third presidential announcement as a state. He flipped red and won twice.
Well, let's see if that happens tonight. We will see. But again, I think it would be a mistake. I think it could energize the folks on the left to get out to the polls tomorrow, and even more so, because they're already telling us, well, you know, it could take us a couple days for us to get all these election results in. So y'all gonna just need to be patient here while we count all these, while we see how many votes we need. I mean, while we count all these votes here from the mail-in ballots that we got. So we'll see what happens tonight. We'll definitely keep an eye on that throughout the evening. Let's see, our third term. Yeah, see what she said? She caught herself. Good job. Charlie, can you send me the French jab link that you just read? I will put that up on my Charlie James Show Facebook page coming up here in just a little bit. All right, Charlie, Trump will be railroaded by the same deep state rhinos. Some people, somebody saying that he's going to announce on Veterans Day. That might be interesting. Charlie McConnell, next to Biden, he's probably the biggest Chinese spy in the government. Mitch McConnell, as they say, the meanest old lady in Washington, D.C. Well, Newt Gingrich is saying, and I hope he's right, that the GOP is going to gain 20 to 50 House seats and between 2 and 5 Senate seats. This would be major. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love to see that. Now, the party of the president traditionally gets, a pretty good, gets losses during the midterm elections. Of course, that's been happening since 1946. So if that continues following tomorrow, current House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy will become the next Speaker of the House, taking the gavel from Nancy Pelosi and President Biden's party. I'm going to videotape. I'm going to make sure that I DVR the handing over of that gavel from her alcohol-riddled claws of Nancy Pelosi to Kevin McCarthy. I wish it were somebody else, but it is what it is. I just can't wait to see her. Oh, I wonder if she's going to tear something up. I wonder if she's going to stand up and just remember what, like she did the State of the Union speech. She just ripped it in front of live television, in front of everybody. What a petty, horrible woman. But the Republicans coming in and winning the midterm elections could have a positive effect in another way. And that's with the stock market. Okay. Wall Street. People in Wall Street are predicting that a red wave in the midterms are going to push stocks higher. Okay. Now, it's not because of anything that the Republicans are going to be doing other than getting elected. Wall Street loves gridlock. They love gridlock. And the reason being is that the president can't do anything. Congress really can't do anything much. So all of a sudden, business is kind of allowed to do its thing. Business is allowed to do the business of doing business. And that is always something that the stock market really likes. So look for, if we have a red wave coming up tomorrow, like everybody hopes we does, stocks are going to start inching up. And Biden, of course, is going to take credit for it. But it's not Biden that Wall Street is responding to, obviously. It's gridlock. Yeah. The Wall Street loves when nothing gets done in Washington. They love nothing more than when nothing gets done in Washington. When, in effect, a great deal. Just stopping Joe Biden's agenda is going to do a great deal. So remember back in 2019, remember Elon Musk just laid off a bunch of employees there at Twitter? And Whoopi Goldberg is gone. She announced she's not going to be on Twitter anymore because there are going to be some people on there that might disagree with her, and they can't have that. So Whoopi Goldberg is leaving Twitter. A lot of people are saying that they're leaving Twitter. But I saw one guy said that he was let go from Twitter, and he is now homeless and sleeping in his car. And I thought, well, that's weird. You mean to tell me that you've been unemployed for a day and you're already out there sleeping in your car? Well, maybe you ought to do what Joe Biden advised all the coal miners to do back in 2019.
Anybody who could go down 300 to 3,000 feet in the mine, sure and hell can learn how to program as well. Give me a break. Anybody who can throw coal into a furnace can learn how to program, for God's sake. Anybody.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, all you got to do is learn to code. Learn to code. That's what they told us. You need to learn to code. Oh, you don't have a job anymore? You're a coal miner? Learn to code. But then all of a sudden, when all these people started losing their jobs because of COVID, it was no longer cool to say, learn to code. You would get kicked off of Twitter if you said, learn to code. There you go. Charlie, she'll probably hit Kevin over the head with a gavel. Oh, my God. Yeah, she'll replay what happened in her San Francisco home. Yeah, clank. There you go, Nancy Pelosi. All right, we'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD. You guys are a lot of fun tonight. Keep them coming, y'all. Keep them coming. The program. Glad to have you along with us on this Monday night, the day before. It's election eve, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. Charlie, what gives someone you haven't met character or virtue, in your opinion? Is it based on hearsay, political opinion, or what? Do you know what DeSantis does in his personal life? I just find it funny as to who you put on a pedestal versus the one you name call. Who do I name? Have I called DeSantis a name? Tim, have you heard me call Ron DeSantis a name? Anybody? No, of course, because it's never happened. Never happened.
Other than awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. If Donald Trump decides not to run, I will vote for DeSantis. Period. If Donald Trump decides to run, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump in the primary. If Donald Trump loses to Ron DeSantis in the primary, I will vote for Ron DeSantis. I believe we've got some depth in the bench right now. But my preference is Donald Trump. I've got nothing against DeSantis. I can't say a single bad word about Ron DeSantis. Not a single thing, and never have. I just don't. So, let's see. Please, let's see. But I didn't call him that. I didn't call him DeSanctimonious. Charlie, let's see, I already read that one. Charlie, I'm not a Joe Cunningham supporter, but I will give him credit for coming on conservative radio and speaking intelligently about his positions. You know what? I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. His people reached out and asked if he could come on the show. I said, absolutely. They knew where they were coming. And for that alone, I was pretty impressed. Pretty impressed that he did that. Not going to vote for him, but that took a lot of guts. It really did. So good for him. Good for him. Let's see, Charlie, just noticed that the QT on the corner of 183 and 25, the gas is $3.54 a gallon right now, while quite an increase from overnight. But this is the scariest text of all. This is scary. Charlie, I just talked to my pharmacist at Publix because of a prescription problem. She said they are 600 prescriptions behind because CVS and Walmart are out of amoxicillin. It's going to be a cold, dark winter. Now, I wonder if that's got anything to do with the RSV. Have you guys been hearing about the respiratory virus that's been going around in kids? Apparently, a lot of kids are showing up with this. A lot. And I think we might find out, and this is just speculation on my part, but we always talked about how the vaccine can actually reduce your immune system's function to fight off other diseases. And just putting one and one together, you might come up with the two that this might actually be a deal. So, Charlie, I think they heard you say what Trump called DeSantis. Yeah, it was probably right. Probably right. So, I don't know. But I do know this. The number of excess deaths in countries all over the world is pretty unbelievable. Excess deaths right now are way up. All in Europe, all over the place. Now, what excess deaths are deaths above the normal death rate. I mean, even a lot of countries are having these. A lot of them. And that's one of those things where you just kind of have to sit back and go, hey, man, why is nobody speaking out about this? Why is nobody, you just had that marathon runner. I believe it was New York Marathon, whatever marathon they had this weekend, 21-mile mark. He collapsed. It's pretty darn scary what's going on. So hopefully these RSV viruses that are going on among kids isn't because of the vaccine, but we'll see. We will see. All right, Ingalls Market Talk Line, 800-347-1063. The Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 71307. Would love to chat with you. Trafalgar Senate poll has Mehmet Oz beating John Fetterman, the guy who all the American flags decided to take off after he started speaking. Laxalt beating Cortez Mastro in Nevada. Over in Georgia, Herschel Walker is beating Raphael Warnock by a couple of points. In New Hampshire, Bolduc is beating Maggie Hassan 47 to 46%. And some of these races shouldn't even be this close. But I think the American people have seen exactly what the policies of the left have done. Right? Absolutely. We see it. We see it here in South Carolina. We see it here. Everybody is seeing what these policies are doing. Europe suffering, and the vaccine was one of them. Europe suffering 755% increase in excessive deaths. 755% among children since the COVID vaccine for kids. At the end of August, mortality figures for Europe showed a 691% increase. That has gone up to 755. Scary times. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
Hey, Upstate, welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
106.3 WORD.
Welcome back to the program. I tell you what, so if I'd have had McMaster on today, right, I will guarantee you I would have gotten 30 text messages criticizing McMaster. We don't like McMaster. He's called McTaxter. So I have Joe Cunningham on. We don't like Joe Cunningham. You gave him a voice. I can't believe you did that. No, give it to him. He came on. He said what he believes. You get to decide. Period. That was it. I mean, oh my gosh. Oh, crazy. Okay, Ingalls Market Talk Line, 800-347-1063. The Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 71307. Glad to have you along with us this evening. 23 hours from now, we will have 1 hour left until the polls close. 1 hour left, 23 hours from now. Hopefully, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day in the United States. Hopefully. And I hope everybody I am so looking forward to getting up tomorrow morning and going to vote. I got my voter registration card ready. My ID's ready. I got my sample ballots ready to go. I know I'm voting anyway, but I always like to have I always like to go well prepared. Going to show up tomorrow, and my wife and I are going to vote. And we're going to do that thing. And we're going to be a part of this red wave. No raindrop ever believes they're part of a flood, but you can be a part of a flood tomorrow if you just get out there and vote. And I know how things are going to go here in South Carolina. I mean, I know pretty much. It's a lock, especially here in the Upstate. But I am voting to send a message tomorrow, not only to South Carolina, but to Nevada and Arizona and Pennsylvania and Rhode Island and New York, that the American people are sick and tired of these liberal policies of the left. That's right. Howard Stern, the vile human that he is, was ranting about a civil war. It's going to be a civil war. This is the way they're doing right now. It's going to be a civil war if Herschel Walker is elected. It's going to be a civil war. But that's the way they do. Oh, it's a civil war. And now we got this story about this Russian businessman who is apparently admitted to tampering in our elections. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He says he's not going to stop. Says he's not going to stop. He's been tampering in our elections.
You got a caller.
Yeah. Anybody believe in that? No. Come on. That's pretty convenient. Russian businessman linked to Putin admits to U.S. election meddling. We'll get to that story coming up in just a second. Right now, I want to go to Ron in Moore. Ron, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, Charlie, Merry Christmas at 49 days.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Don't even talk like that. Oh, we haven't even started thinking about that.
I know it. Hey, Charlie, what I'm concerned about is everybody, these Democrats are talking about Tim Scott saying that he wanted to cut Social Security and veterans benefits. What I've heard that the Democrats have made that put it on the table if they can, because they've spent trillions of dollars with no way to repay that.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that's true or not, but that's something to think about.
Yeah, it was actually Rick Scott, but it is something to think. I mean, the Democrats have treated Social Security at times like a piggy bank.
Oh yes.
That they could just dip into anytime they want to.
And we got the Social Security folks. We got a raise, cost of living raise, effective January the 1st.
Yeah.
And also veterans benefits got a cost of living raise, effective January the 1st. So I can't understand where these Democrats. Well, I can understand where they're coming from, but I can't say that over the air.
Yeah, I got you. Well,
We'll let them know tomorrow, though. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you calling in. Well, that's what Joe Biden the other day was talking about. Oh, I would just raise Social Security benefits for the first time in 7 years. Wrong. It's gone up every year. Every year for the past 7 years. But this is what they want to do. They want to scare you. So now we get this from NPR. NPR. The same people that aired the audio of an abortion the other day. Kremlin-connected entrepreneur Yevgeny Prigozhin admitted Monday that he had interfered in the U.S. elections and would continue to do so, confirming for the first time the accusations that he had rejected for years. Gentlemen, we have interfered, are interfering, and will interfere carefully, precisely, surgically, and in our own way, as we know how to do, he said on social media. The statement from the press service of his catering company that earned him the nickname Putin's Chef came on the eve of the U.S. midterm elections. It was the second major admission in recent months by the 61-year-old businessman who has ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin. He's previously sought to keep his activities under the radar and now appears increasingly interested in gaining political clout. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said that his comments do not tell us anything new or surprising. So he was using social media to do it. Spreading misinformation, they say. Please. Please. Give me a break. Social media has never influenced me to do anything. Well, I take that back. Maybe I bought something from an ad. Just full disclosure. But that is so few and far. It's certainly never, ever influenced the way that I plan to vote. And I think a lot of Americans are the same way. But this is the same talking point that Hillary Clinton talked about when she said that the Russians meddled in her election with Trump, that there were some Macedonian bot farmers who were busily working in their mom's basements, sending out all of this misinformation. Please. No, don't fall for this mess. Don't fall for this mess. It's junk. They are right. This is the last minute attempt. There was no October surprise. Oh, they tried. They tried to do an October surprise or two, but nothing panned out. The fact of the matter is, for the Democrats, their candidates are horrible. Even that woman that was worked with the Democrats, she said, listen, the Democrats just didn't listen to the voters. That's all it is. It's not Russian interference. This is what they're going to. They're setting up why they're losing. They're setting up why they're losing. Oh, well, I lost another one to Russia. Doggone it. We would have won that. You know, Fetterman would have been the senator in Pennsylvania if it hadn't been for that Russian caterer. That's what they do. This is just setting up the excuse to what's going to happen tomorrow, which, again, I hope it is massive. What misinformation about the Biden administration has been put out there? What misinformation? The misinformation about the economy? The misinformation about immigration? You mean to tell me that the Russians are causing the gas prices to go up? Well, that's what the Democrats want you to believe. Of course. But we all know better, don't we? Yes, we do. And we're going to prove it tomorrow. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
The Charlie James Show
on 106.3 WORD.
Well, this text message is absolutely right. Charlie, their mistakes are never their own fault. Blaming others makes it easier for them to swallow. Exactly right. Exactly right. Oh, this isn't our fault. Why, that Russian caterer, he was the one. He was, if it hadn't been for that Russian caterer, we would have won this election. You watch. That's coming. You know what's coming. It can't be their fault. It can't be because they have, in the past 2 years, absolutely destroyed our economy. No, that can't be it. Can't be that we've got illegal aliens pouring across our southern border. No, that's how easy would it be to be a Democrat? I mean, just think about this. How easy? Gas prices are up. Joe Biden, let's see. Joe Biden stopped drilling, shut down the pipelines. Gas prices are up. Can't be our fault. Russia. Russia's fault. Russia's fault. Let's see. We got illegal aliens streaming across the border. That can't be our fault. Can't be our fault. Let's see. We've got we're gonna get our butts handed to us in the election. Can't be our fault. That's Russia. It would do Russia. Yeah. Listen, the Russia thing's played out. We know that you guys lied. We know that you lied with the Steele dossier. We know that you lied with all that. In fact, you did more than lie. You paid for it. You paid for it. And then the FBI comes along and they offer Christopher Steele $1 million to verify the Steele dossier. Well, he didn't collect that $1 million because he never could do it, but they took it to the FISA courts anyway. They got the warrants. Carter Page's life was ruined. George Papadopoulos, General Flynn, many, many others. They were able to do that. Hopefully, with this election tomorrow, all that crap stops. All of it stops. Let's see, 361 Wade in here. Charlie, I'm glad I voted absentee. The MAGA Republicans are starting riots and are planning more. These next 4, it ain't worth risking. I'd just stay home where it's safe, and the hell with it. What riots? What riots are being? Did you see the picture of the Democrat choking an African-American woman who was also a Republican? Did you see that picture? He's got his hands around her throat. Well, one hand around her throat, and he is choking her, physically choking her. Did the mainstream media come out with that? No. Charlie, is there a special election program tomorrow with you, Tara, and some others? Why, I am so glad you asked, 009, because that is exactly what is going to happen tomorrow night, right after the Charlie James Show. We're going to segue right into our election coverage. It's going to be me, Tara. It's going to be Lee. We've got some special guests lined up for you. We're going to, we'll tell you about those tomorrow. Really looking forward to talking to Andrew Boucher. He is a political consultant. I want to talk to him about what are campaigns doing now? How are they spinning this? If you're running a campaign and you know you're getting your butt handed to you, what is that like? Because every political consultant, they've won campaigns, they've lost, won elections, they've lost elections. What is it like? What is it like in the back room where everybody's, had their fill of coffee, they've had their fill of donuts, they're watching these election results come in, and they're getting defeated? What is it like? How do you pick yourself up and go from there? That's always been fascinating to me. What is it like in those back rooms? What's the conversation? Do you take it personally? Or do you try to move on? I don't know. Okay, let's see. Ingalls Market Talk Line, 800-347-1063, the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line, 71307. So, Tim, it was a woman It was a woman who called 911.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she did. It was up in Raleigh.
Okay.
A woman called 911 because there was something wrong with her barbecue.
Oh, God.
Well, this calls for a Charlie challenge. Here we go. That's right. It's a Charlie challenge because I know you're the hippest, most with it, most informed, most intellectually curious radio audience in all the land. We bring you this Charlie challenge. Police in Raleigh responded to a historic barbecue restaurant on Tuesday after a woman called 911. Why? What was wrong with the barbecue, Tim?
It was pork meat, and they were against killing pigs or something.
Oh, well, you know what? That's not a bad guess. It's not the right guess, but it was a good one.
It's a good one.
I mean, I would have gone with that. Yeah, absolutely. She called them because the meat at Clyde Cooper's Barbecue in South Wilmington Street was pink, and she wanted it cooked longer or exchanged. The caller said that they're saying that the meat is supposed to be pink. The caller said she was denied a refund or a trade-in. The barbecue restaurant, which has been in downtown Raleigh since 1938, took to social media to address the incident. Clyde Cooper said the owner and employees tried to explain to the woman that barbecue turns pink when it's smoked, and even if it were cooked longer, it would still stay pink. Clyde Cooper's Barbecue said they also gave the woman chicken when she was unhappy with the smoked pork. The restaurant said they were shocked when police actually showed up about 10 minutes later, saying that we had no idea. She called the cops because, again, there was no real issue. Everything seemed fine. We had all had a good laugh about someone not being able to listen to reason and teaching them about the smoking process. The woman gave them a 1-star review after the incident. Oh, my. This is in North Carolina, where they claim they've got the best barbecue in the world. They are wrong. South Carolina barbecue is the best barbecue in the world. So I wanted to take a listen. We got the 911 call here. Let's see if we got it. See if we can bring this up here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, we got it. There's got to be a little thing's got to play here, and then we'll play this. Here we go. Here we go.
November 1st, 2022, 12 hours, 54 minutes, 26 seconds.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Yes, can I get an officer at Clyde Cooper and Barbecue?
All right, repeat the address for me.
It's Clyde Cooper and Barbecue on Wilmington Street.
Wow, this 911 call is taking a long time.
It's on South Wilmington Street in downtown by the PNC Plaza parking.
Do you know what the nearest cross street is?
Oh, my gosh.
What?
Folks, do not call 911 in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Wow.
Hey, listen, I watched the first 48.
Uber.
I watched the first 40. Yeah, an Uber would have got there quicker. Somebody called me a cab. I ain't gonna bleed to death waiting on an ambulance. I watched the first 48. These people are like, I need a police, and they're like, they're already on their way.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's generally what happens, right?
Forget the pink barbecue meat. I mean, you gotta look at the response time from the 911 there. That's pretty sorry.
Maybe they have to rate the nature of their emergency before.
Maybe so. I would hope not.
1 through 5.
Yeah.
What is your emergency?
What is the nearest cross street? What are you wearing? How are you feeling today? All right, we'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WO.
1063 WORD.
Welcome back to the program. Glad to have you along with us on election eve. We're still monitoring that rally with Trump. He probably won't be on until what are we looking at? Maybe 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it says 8 o'clock on the lower third here.
Trump going on about 8 o'clock. So, all right. So we'll see what happens with that, whether or not he's going to announce. We got Richard out there, Tim.
Yes, we do.
All right, let's go to Richard in Oneopath. How are you, Richard?
I'm doing fine, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for taking. I just wanted to comment about the two questions that all of us are going to be asked on when we vote tomorrow.
Yeah.
I disagree with you that both of them ought to be yes. And
Okay.
if you'll hear me out on this.
Absolutely.
The first one is for a rainy day for necessities. The second one is for if they come up with a program that is it can be a new program or whatever, that they don't have enough money for, then they can dig into this pot to have money. Well, the way I feel about it is, just like you, when something you save for what you need.
Right.
Some of these new programs that our government's wanting to do all the time, we don't need them. Or if we need them bad enough, why don't they save the money somewhere else instead of wasting it in so many areas?
Well, that's a good idea, but now, Richard,
I think ought to be.
What I'm hearing is that's kind of what they're doing. They're not going to be raising your taxes 1% and 2%.
I'm not talking about raising.
Okay.
Taxes. I'm talking about quit spending our money when you're using it unwisely in other areas. It's taxpayer money, right?
Exactly.
All the money that they're spending is taxpayer money.
I know.
They have to get it somewhere.
Right.
Now, the first one is for, like, if Hugo hits or whatever, when we need the help. Okay? But the second one is for programs that they come up with. Let's say they have a Planned Parenthood program that they come up with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we were one of those states and they need more money to help Planned Parenthood. I don't want my tax money going toward that. I'm just using it for an example.
No, I understand, but kind of what you're saying is
increasing.
But what you're saying is that they should take this money that they're spending on other programs and put it into the rainy day fund, right?
No, sir. What I'm saying is, if it's important enough, balance the budget, use your money wisely. They are doing a terrible job. Let me use an example.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson County has all this artwork out there. It's not needed. The sooner we learn the difference between needs and wants, the better off we are.
Right.
They have it all down Main Street and all like that. A lot of towns do that. I'm not trying to just pick on Anderson.
Sure.
A lot of towns do that. Let's focus on what we need instead of what we want. Let's take care of the most important things instead of wasting money. In Anderson County and a lot of other counties did raise taxes to 7%. We were supposed to get a cut in our property tax. That never happened. 20% of the tax money when they raised to 7% was going to reduce property tax. That hadn't happened yet. But I think, if I remember right, it's either going to stay in effect for 20 to 25 years. It probably never will leave. They'll probably keep it at 7%. But that's how they sold the program.
But I'm still not understanding the problem with taking 2 to 3% and putting it in the rainy day fund. I mean, and Richard, I'm not trying to argue against you. I mean, if you don't think it's a good idea, then vote against it. I mean, I'm fine. And, if two people agree on everything, one of them is not necessary. That's fine. I just think it'd be a good idea.
I'm just sharing my.
Okay.
I think the first one is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
The first one's great. The second one, and I even talked to Senator Representative about this. He agreed with me. The second one ought to be a no. He said, you can come up with programs all day long and all it will do is fund them.
Right.
And I
Okay.
think we have some programs that we don't need that are out there. Do you
Yeah.
agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. We've seen that time and time again. Well, buddy, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for sharing your insight on this. And again, this is going to be up to you whether or not you take that 1.5%, 2%, 3%, put it in those rainy day funds. So again, like I said, if two people agree on everything, one of them's not necessary. And I think all of you folks are necessary. I love hearing from you. Unlike Whoopi Goldberg, I love to hear counter opinions. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. None. But tomorrow's going to be a big day. Hope you guys are looking as forward to it as I am. Because I want to make them cry. That's my biggest goal in life. What is it? What is one of the mottos of the program? It's a great day to ruin the Democrats' day. Tomorrow could be one fantastic day. We'll be right back. This is the Charlie James Show, 106.3 WORD.
1063 WORD.
The Upstate's #1 talk station.
Well, this ought to make you feel good. This ought to give you hope and inspiration, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. You're not going to believe this. Are you ready? The Department of Justice announced today that it is going to monitor polls in select municipalities across 24 states during the midterm elections. Because the Department of Justice is so upright and virtuous. Now, these are the same people that also said that parents who stand up at school board meetings are domestic terrorists. Those people are going to be monitoring the polls in select municipalities. That's right. Since the passage of Voting Rights Act in 1965, they say the Civil Rights Division has regularly monitored elections in the field in jurisdictions around the country to protect the rights of voters. The Civil Rights Division will also take complaints from the public nationwide regarding possible violations of the federal voting rights laws through its call center. The Civil Rights Division enforces the federal voting rights laws that protect the rights of all citizens to access the ballot. Oh, that's joyous, isn't it? Doesn't that give you confidence? Now, among the states that they're going to be looking into include, of course, Arizona, right? Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Now, what makes those states that's right. They're very hotly, very closely contested races in those states, and it looks like the GOP just might pull them out. The deployment of federal agents comes amid heightened concerns about election integrity in the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election. Well, why would they be concerned? I mean, after all, didn't they come along and say that the 2020 presidential election was the most secure election on record? Interesting. Republicans seeking to ensure election integrity have scored legal victories on election integrity in swing states like Michigan that will affect the 2022 midterms. Anybody thinking we're going to know any of these results tomorrow night? No. They're already telling you that. They're already telling you that. Don't expect these returns to come back. Oh, we're not going to know that night. Good gracious. Good gracious. Tomorrow night might just be an absolute mess. And we all know that anytime the federal government gets involved in anything, it is going to be a mess. So New York Governor Katie Hochul is accusing Lee Zeldin of trying to scare people for fun over the state's crime. Kathy Hochul tried to say that crime in New York was a conspiracy theory. Oh, yes, just a conspiracy theory. It's no, nothing here to see. Don't worry about that. None of that is happening. When we all know it is. And then you got Stacey Abrams over in Georgia. Stacey Abrams said, well, I'll let you listen to what she said and tell me if this isn't a wee bit insulting to African-American men.
And I do not believe it's because of a deep well of enthusiasm for my opponent. We know that Black voters are often discounted. And unfortunately, this year, Black men have been a very targeted population for misinformation. Not misinformation about what they want, but about why they want what they deserve. And my campaign has been the only one that has very intentionally, thoughtfully, and consistently reached out. That has been misconstrued as concern when it indeed is just respect.
Yeah. So in other words, African-American men, you're easily duped. Easily duped. Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom, excuse me, who now serves as the White House senior advisor for public engagement, backed Abrams' slight of African-American men, saying there's definitely a target toward African-American men, not just to give them misinformation, but to make them so discouraged that they won't show up to vote. I wonder if this is being done by a Russian caterer. Maybe so. Maybe so. One thing's certain, insulting a key component of your base and justifying why you are going to lose is no way to make a closing argument to voters hours before they go to the poll. Christina Pushaw said, that is so condescending. They say the same thing about Latinos in Florida, but it's not misinformation when someone has a different opinion. Democrats just take certain demographics for granted, and that's not a good look for anyone. Yep, she's worried. They're all worried. They're scared to death. So they're bringing out the Department of Justice. They're bringing out this, this rhetoric that African-American men can't think for themselves. That's called the soft bigotry of low expectations, which they're very good at. And I hope tomorrow night they get the snot kicked out of them. I really do. It would serve them right. Right now, well, look at this. Hold on, let me get my my notes from earlier today as I was planning the program here. 28%. That is Biden's approval rating among independents. 28%. 81% of Americans are dissatisfied with the economy. 81%. You had that one congressman out there telling people they need to start eating Chef Boyardee if times get hard. You got Biden admitting, that he shut down the drilling. You got Biden admitting that he's going to shut down the coal plants. And for some reason, the White House had to come back and say, no, what he said is not what he really meant. People are understanding this. African-American men know what's going on. They got to buy gas too. They got to feed their families too. They're sick and tired of this mess that's going on. And I really hope that tomorrow the Democrats realize that they did not listen to the voters. Well, they didn't. We know they didn't. Not only, they didn't even listen, they didn't even talk to them. I mean, if you weren't part of the Greenie Weenie set out there, if you weren't part of the Greta Thunbergs and her crew, they didn't care what you said. They didn't care how much your gas was. They didn't care how much food was on your table. They do not care. They just want the radical left to be heard. And that's it. Everybody else can go pound sand. That's what they're looking for. Man, tomorrow is going to be something. Get up early. I'm going to go vote bright and early tomorrow morning. By golly, I hope you guys do the same thing. Please get out and vote tomorrow. Let's make it a day to remember. Mark Levin's coming up next. Y'all have a fantastic evening. I've enjoyed you this afternoon and this evening. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow on Election Day. It's here. As always, we love you. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.